It's about the restoration of our republic. We want to educate, encourage, enable the power. We stand for integrity, honesty, self-reliance, self-defense, and most importantly, no compromise on our foundational principles. This is America's Voice Now.
Find America's Voice Now on Facebook and at americasvoicenow.org. Here's Michael Evans.
Good morning, America. My name is Michael Evans. I'm joined this morning by Mike and Fast Eddy, and you're listening to America's Voice Now. Thanks for taking the time to join with us this morning. I appreciate your bright and early sunshine. We are going to cover a host of issues today. We've got three segments over a 3-hour show. And we'll try to take some of your calls and hear your thoughts and opinions on different issues. We want to try to cover some ground today in reference to the issues on the Blueways as well. Just kind of an update as to what's been going on at these different various county commission meetings, so that you're up to speed on where that's headed. I'm going to put a call out there today for anyone in the West Plains area that wants to be a warrior and get out there today to the music festival that's being held right off the square down by the Civic Center, and go out there with a pad and a pen and get signatures on a citizen's version of a petition. I think that will help us. We've got quite a few of these petitions out there. Anybody who's interested, I can get you a petition, or I can have them printed out and ready here for you at the station if you want to swing by this morning. We need volunteers to do that. I can't do it, but that's why you folks are the warriors, climbing upon your steeds in your shining white armor.
Need to put your helmet on.
And I'll even wear my helmet. In fact, I'll lend my helmet to anyone that would be willing to. In fact, that'll draw all the attention. Everyone will come over to ask you what's up with that helmet. And then you can explain to them the tyranny and treason of the Blueways.
It's like the central planners in the Soviet Union, you know. We have all these great plans for you, and all you have to do is, do what we say.
Right. Central planning. If you're a young man and you're single, I can't think of a better way for you to meet a bunch of beautiful young women than to be able to walk right up to them and strike up a conversation about the Blueways. It's even got a nice sounding name, right? You could walk up and say, "Good morning, ladies. Are you familiar with Blueways?" See, it's a nice open. Then you can get a phone number. Make sure you tell them that you're going to use the phone number to ask them out for a date first. But, I think it's a great opportunity for a young fella who's out there looking for a nice girl.
Yeah, I like it.
I think it's a great idea. If I were a young single guy, I'd be all over that like a hobo on a ham sandwich. All right. Anyway.
Hey, can I give a shout-out?
Please.
Lions Club, Willow Springs, Missouri, today does their big golf match. It's how they raise a lot of their money in order to get eyeglasses for people and help them out with vision problems.
Okay.
You get a hole-in-one at the Willow Springs Golf Club today. You get a hole-in-one, you win a Chevy Camaro.
Wow. So if you're a duffer and you're good on the links, get out there and try to smack a hole-in-one, and you can win a Chevy Camaro.
Yeah, nice, huh?
Yeah. Chevy Camaro, huh?
Yeah, that car's like $35,000.
I when it comes to golf, I've played golf with Fast Eddy once.
Too many times.
And one that's twice too many. I'm not a very good golfer.
Oh, me either.
I have a nice set of clubs. I have a set of ping clubs.
Huh?
Yeah, Callaway clubs, with ping grips, and they're really nice. Some guy had them regripped. A real wealthy guy, and he was like, I don't need these extra clubs. Here, you want them? $200. So I bought them, and I've used them many times. I'm just no good at it, and I don't have the time to really sit down and work at it.
Well, Mike, you're really a nice guy. You just stand too close to the ball after you tee off.
Well, gee, thanks, Fast Eddy.
A friend of
Actually, that's because I'm always chasing it into the woods.
A friend of mine used to say, golf is men in ugly pants walking.
There you go. But I will say one thing about golf. And if you're in business, in a lot of years I worked for large corporations, and I interacted and interfaced with a lot of very senior executives in huge corporations. Your relationship with those people is never the same after a golf game, even if I play badly. There's a camaraderie or something that comes around from golf, and I can't quite express what it is. You just know it. And I've played golf with, chief executive officers, chief technology, chief financial officers of all these corporations, and vice presidents and presidents. And you're when you're in a technological environment, and you're trying to, I was always in the wireless network business, and they always kind of look at you in an adversarial manner. They know they need you, but they don't want to be taken for a ride, right? And when they're putting in networks like that, you're talking $6 to $50 million. Well, once you've played golf, that adversarial relationship kind of slips away a little bit. There's something, I don't know what it is, but there is something unique about golf.
The shared frustration of taking a stick, okay, and chasing a little ball over 60 acres and trying to get it in a hole in the ground, the size of
that may be it. It's kind of like being stuck on a deserted island for a week or something, that shared hunt for food and survival is probably just breaks that spell of adversarial relationship.
Oh, my God.
So anyway, I always experienced a better relationship with my business associates after having played golf. That's the long and the short of that long-winded story. Cool. But so if you are in business, golf is a great way to. And you know what? There was one rule that we kind of never broke, and it's an unspoken rule. I've never heard anybody mention it, but when you're out there on the course, you're spending like 4 hours, right? Phones are off, no distractions. There's no, buddy coming in and interrupt and say, slip a piece of paper to him or her. And, here's the difference. No business is discussed for except about a 5-minute window. There's like this window that suddenly opens up, and he'll turn around and he'll say to me, so we got to get together on that Project XYZ that we were talking about. And I'd say, sure, what would be a great day for you? Well, we'll do it next week. I'll have my secretary call you. And that's when business ends. Then from that point on, it's nothing but
frustration.
Well, frustration, but discussion about, family, vacations they've taken or you've taken, just anything other than business, right? And that's, I think, the quality of it that changes the nature of your business relationship is the fact that you get to know each other on a individual human basis versus just that business relationship.
And being a good salesman, you never brought the subject up first. You kind of waited for them to say something. Oh,
yeah, you never bring it up. They will always do so within that 3 or 4 hour window. And then once they've ceased it, keep your mouth shut. Rule number 1. So, there's an old rule when you're negotiating anyway. You know what it is, right? After you've made your best argument, you've put your best argument forth, and you've named your price, shut up. And let that silence grow until it is so pregnant that he or she must speak. People will get so uncomfortable. I mean, let that silence grow and grow and grow. Folks, if you're going out and buying a car, I don't care what you're doing, whether you're negotiating to buy a house, a car, or a yo-yo, name your best price and then shut your mouth. I don't care how bad you want to support your argument or why that price should be the right price. Just keep your mouth shut.
Well, I find that to be true after when you get married and everything. After that, you just shut up.
Yeah, but that's no longer a negotiation. That's now become a.
You've closed the deal then.
You've closed the deal, and you've entered into a new dictatorship.
Yeah, but now you have to live up to the contract. That's the problem.
There you go. But that is a very good rule for. In fact, we used to use this phrase: he who speaks first loses. When you're in a negotiation, and you say, I'm willing to pay $75,000 for that house. Here's my scenario. This is what I've got. This is what my bank has qualified me for. My best price is $75,000. Silence. 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 And finally, and don't break it and say, because my bank will, you just lost. Let that silence grow and grow and grow and grow, and the person on the other side that you're negotiating with will get uncomfortable. I don't care if it lasts for 3 minutes. Don't say a single word. You must be silent. And it works. If you speak and you try to defend your position as to why you're doing that, you're done. And I've seen it. I've practiced it myself. I can't even tell you how many times, and it works.
And
not every time, but it works.
And when you go to buy a car, never buy a car the first 3 weeks of the month.
Right, always the last week of the month. Yeah, because they're trying to hit their numbers. Practical living tips from America's Voice Now and Friends.
There you go. Plus, the other thing is the last week of the month, they're looking at having to pay the insurance bill come the first day of the next month,
right,
for all those cars sitting on the lot.
Well, it's not just the insurance bill, but it's also the floor planning, the interest bill. Right. They have to pay floor planning. No dealer really has $80 million worth of inventory just sitting out there getting hit by hail. So, think about it, folks. Maybe that's what we should do. We should run a second radio program called Practical Living Tips.
Yeah. Hey, how'd things go in Alton yesterday?
Very well. In fact, we're going to take a break, and when we come back from that, I will give you folks an update. We had a great crowd of people that showed up there. We had 3 commissioners that were there, and the county clerk, and I think it went very, very well. I'll kind of give you guys an update as we get back.
Great.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to America's Voice Now. We're joined this morning by Mike and Fast Eddy, and we'll take your calls in a little bit, and we will cover some issues going on about this Blueways update and some other things. We'll be back in just a moment. America's Voice Now, delivering truth over mainstream propaganda every single day. Hi, my name is Michael Evans, and I'm your host, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., and Saturday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. Join me daily for important guests and my unique slant on hot topics in the news. Visit americasvoicenow.org for even more news, articles, and commentary, and watch our show streaming live to your PC. Share your morning with me. Get educated, informed, motivated, and activated. America's Voice Now, right here on 107.1.
The Government Accountability Institute has conducted an analysis of how much time this president has spent in economic meetings of any kind. For instance, how much time has he spent golfing compared to economic meetings?
Between golf and vacation, he's at 976 hours.
That's only more than double the time of what he spent on the economy.
But he won't rest
until people have jobs and this economy is rolling again.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
Weekdays from 2 to 5, it's Glenn Beck on the Ozarks' Best News Talk 107.1.
All right, folks, we're back. I hope you're having some coffee. You're probably eating scrambled eggs and sausage by now. And I'm sitting here with just a drab old cup of coffee. Man, the sacrifices I make for you guys.
Liar, liar, liar.
Pants on fire.
Mike did bring me a hot dog and what do they call that? A pig in a blanket?
Yeah, from the Donut Palace.
From the Donut Palace. I don't eat breakfast in the morning. I'm kind of teasing you guys anyhow.
Except on Saturdays.
Except on Saturdays. Mike graciously brings me a pig in a blanket. You're not, there's not some, hidden ulterior motive or connotation in that, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just checking. I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure I know what your true motives are, and that you're not thinking like ill of me. And
No, I need you to be like awake and ready to go on Monday mornings. So that
and the
you
pig
can,
in the blanket is the motivator. Is that it?
Yeah, it's just to keep you going and stuff. I don't want you to be like fading away.
You don't want me to waste away.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, actually, it's more
There's
like
probably no danger of me wasting away. I can afford to lose 40 pounds.
Actually, it's more like a pig in a tinfoil hat.
A pig in a tinfoil hat. And we have multiple tinfoil hats up there, as you folks now know. You've watched them on our show. And we will allow others to submit our tinfoil hat contest. If you would like to do so, you have to send us a tinfoil hat. You can mail it to us here at the station, and you have to put it in some kind of a box. The key is it has to come with instructions on its use. So I read the instructions for Mike's, which was the one I wore last. I think it was last week.
That was the Constitutional Crusaders helmet.
The Constitutional Crusader helmet. It even had like a screen you could pull down that would protect you from BS, CS, and HS when you approach your politicians. And you've all heard me say that, we need citizen warriors to go to Washington or to go to Jefferson City and, slay the dragon from the inside. So, not that I can run for office, but not that I know I'd want to run for office. Yuck. Could you imagine being surrounded by slime all day, every day? Everybody being a conniving, mean-spirited, always just, every word you say, you'd have to watch. Everything you do, you'd have to be cognizant that other people are trying to look for a chink in your armor. They're trying to hear you say one word that shows a weakness so that they can jump all over you. And they've got a lifetime of practice at that. That would be a very, very difficult existence, I think.
But here comes another one of those tips. And if you ever want to watch somebody do this, pay attention to, what's the name of the guy who's an independent from up in New England?
Oh, Bernie Sanders.
No, not Bernie. Is a senator.
Lieberman.
Joe Lieberman. Watch Joe Lieberman.
Joe Jowls?
Yeah, but see, here's what. When somebody goes and sticks a microphone in Joe Lieberman's face and they ask him a question, if you watch him, you can count to 3 until he responds.
Yeah.
He never responds to anything immediately because by giving that 3 count, he seizes control of what it is that's going on. And then when he does respond, he usually gives a well-thought-out and reasonable response to whatever it is. And it turns the tables on the people that are trying to get him to blurt out something stupid.
Right.
Which politicians frequently do.
With
startling regularity.
Really? And that's exactly what I was going to say. Isn't that funny? With startling regularity. That is true. I'm going to give you a perfect example of one of those folks, guys. Our representative John Larson from Connecticut has come out and he's made an amazing statement. He says that the Obamacare, which is being instituted across the nation, because of pushback from the Republican side, which didn't vote for it at all, by the way. There was not a single Republican vote for Obamacare. You have to remember that. They pushed through an amendment to it that said that everyone in Congress, all members of Congress, and their staff members had to get their coverage through the new exchange system that the bill that's being set up. And John Larson from Connecticut has actually come out and said, this is simply not fair. Now, that's his quote, not mine. So here's your startling regularity. He says, the problem is that this is simply not fair because key members of his staff are going to head for the exits to avoid Obamacare. They're going to quit. Because if they quit before it goes into effect, they get to keep their old plan. You got to, if this ain't the pot calling the kettle black, right? If this isn't hypocrisy in action, Here's what they say. This is literally stunning, and it shows you the elitist mentality of these scum in Washington who think that they are some kind of special privileged animal. Many on Capitol Hill fear it could lead to a brain drain, noting that the problem is far more acute in the House, where lawmakers and aides are generally younger and less wealthy. Now, let's just, folks, let's use our critical thinking skills and break this down for a minute. First of all, if you're a House member, you're making $175,000 a year. Plus, you're making probably another $50,000 a year in reimbursements, perks, bennies, little, free haircuts, and God knows what all, right? You go to every restaurant you go to, you get the best seat in the house. The maitre d' comes over and he hands you a free bottle of wine. There's a beautiful girl sitting on your knee who's not your wife. All that stuff, right? So the problem is that if they quit now, they get to keep their old health care. And these aides, by the way, make about $100,000. Now, most folks out here in the Midwest think, well, $100,000 is the holy grail, right? You hit $100,000, you made it. Well, in Washington, D.C., if you live in D.C., $100,000 is like making 30 here.
Yeah, I was going to say,
because
you get a
your
one-bedroom
housing
apartment. Yeah.
Right, your housing cost. A one-bedroom apartment could cost you a couple grand a month. And if you want to live in swank and hip Georgetown, then it could be $5,000 a month.
I got news for this guy. That whole brain drain thing in Capitol Hill.
That's impossible because it's a vacuous, empty space to begin with.
There's brain drain on Capitol Hill when the janitor walks out the door at the end of the day.
Right.
Okay, that's the brain drain.
Exactly.
This has been going on for 50 years.
You know what? You could drain every ounce of intelligentsia out of Washington, D.C. simply by having everyone who lives there who's not in politics move out. And suddenly there would be this vacuum like the deepest space.
Oh, my gosh.
Absolute silence. Frigid 450 degree below zero cold.
Another space odyssey.
Right. It would be like Hal.
Oh, my gosh. Brain drain on Capitol Hill, please.
What really bothers me about this is that these people actually think that they are special.
They are.
He says it's simply not fair. If not, I think we should begin. He's looking for a special vote or rule change to separate them from Obamacare, so they don't have to be stuck with the same crap they're shoving up. I almost said the wrong way.
That word.
Shoving down our throat or shoving up your rear end. He says they're trying to pass this special bill. And if not, he says, I think we should begin an immediate amicus brief. Amicus brief? Who the hell does this guy think he is? This isn't going into a federal court. Listen, this is simply not fair to these employees. They are federal employees. So now he's gone and made it even worse. Not only is he saying that this should apply to the House and Senate members and their aides, and I think they have aides of the brain, but now he's including all federal employees he's lumping all federal employees underneath there.
It is a special bill, though, but we're talking special as in short bus.
So Pete, right, right. I don't want Obamacare.
The wheels on the bus go round,
round and round, round and round, round and round. Pete Sessions, a Republican from Texas, says, hey, it's a reality. This is the law. It's going to hinder our ability with the retention of members.
There's some retention going on up there.
It's going to hinder our ability for members to take care of their families. You got to be kidding me. Why not go get a real job, all of you, and stop acting as if your job is to direct our lives? How's that? I never got to our Blueways update. I'm waiting for people to wake up. I'm just giving them all a chance to come on board.
Yeah. Remember, Blueways,
no ways,
go away.
Go away. Blue way, no way, go away. Mike coined that phrase. I think that should become like
It'd be a good bumper sticker.
It would be an awesome bumper sticker.
Well, Mike's
Be a little
an awesome guy.
And he is.
I don't know about that.
Well, we're going to let him believe he is.
Talking about that, Mike.
We're going to let him believe he is. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I promise you a Blueways update. We're just trying to, have a little lighthearted fun here. We'll be back in just a moment.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Evacuation orders lifted in Colorado for tens of thousands in the fight against wildfires,
including those who live within the limits of Colorado Springs.
I'm pleased to report that our containment percentage has moved from 5 to 30%.
The number of homes destroyed in what officials say is the worst wildfire in Colorado history has also gone up.
Fox Radio's Sharon Katchen. Nearly 500 homes have been destroyed. 2 people confirmed dead. The fire under investigation as a homicide. 1 person's dead after a chemical plant explosion in Louisiana last night. State Police Trooper Jared Sandifer explaining.
They're putting the nitrogen into the vessel. The vessel is highly pressurized, and for unknown reasons, that vessel failed and caused an explosion.
The blast is just miles from the site where 2 workers were killed a day earlier in another chemical plant explosion. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Thanks to our friends over at Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance. You can reach Brian down there at 870-492-4030. It's located a half mile east of Walmart on 3225 Route 62, Mountain Home. My dear friend Mary over at Chantilly's Artisan Bakery, the best damn bakery in 100 miles. She's located at number 2 Evans Arcade, and you can call her at 255-2253. My friends over at Pizza Hut on Porter Wagoner Boulevard. They have an outstanding lunch opportunity. You can, from 11 till 2, and you can have salad and pizza, something tasty and something good for you. Our friends Bill Stone over at Stone Construction at 293-0116. If you're considering doing any kind of remodeling, new or custom construction and or light commercial, give Bill a call and let him bid on your next project. Our friends at the Battery Station at 303 Washington Avenue, 417-257-7799. They can be found at thebatterystation.com. Our friends over at West Plains Pawn and Gun, an outstanding opportunity with 400 firearms under glass. You can reach them at 417-256-3000, and they are located at westplainspawn.com. Located physically at Highway 160, about a mile past Walmart on the right-hand side. And finally, the sponsor of our phone lines, Wits End Classic Barbershop, located on the square in West Plains. Best haircut you can get for $10, and a nice young man as well. Please visit and support our sponsors.
Having difficulty with your computer? Do you think it has a mind of its own? Well, don't be alarmed. This happens to everyone at some point in time. Worry no more. Computer Dave and Kyle can help you out with PC Geeks, a weekly show right here on 107.1 The Point. Tune in Thursdays at 1 o'clock to ask computer-related questions and listen to the web topic of the week. That's PC Geeks here on 107.1 The Point.
Weather sponsorships are now available on News Talk 107.1 The Point. Get more information, email info@diamondmediaradio.com for complete details.
From the Point Weather Center for this morning, we expect mostly sunny skies at a high of 87 with a chance of late afternoon showers and storms. The chance of rain and thunder shower activity continues tonight. It'll be mostly cloudy on 68. Sunday, there's a 5 in 10 chance of showers and storms with a high of 86 under partly sunny skies. I'm Rod Tanner, and for more information, visit my1071thepoint.com.
I had this illness that really made me powerless over alcohol, and that insisted that I got drunk. And so I got drunk. It doesn't have anything to do with trying to control it. An alcoholic who picks up the first drink will pick up the second drink. I can't say to anyone, no, don't drink. But I can say that when you decide you don't want to drink, come to AA. The door to AA is always open. Alcoholics Anonymous. It works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or AA.org.
Okay. Thank you for sticking with us through our capitalist moment. You know, there is a concealed carry course going on the 29th of June at Black Ops School of Combat, and it's a 8-hour course. And I'd like you to make sure that you give Greg McLaughlin a call at 255-1612. And the reason I say that is because he is running this concealed carry opportunity for right here in West Plains. And basically, you can use you have to use a semi-auto and a revolver, but he can make weapons available for you if you don't have one. If you've ever wanted to have your CCW, this would be your chance to do that. And one thing I want you to that's unique about this opportunity, Greg has developed the world's fastest technique to clear something called a double feed malfunction. Now, if you're into pistol shooting and you're a trainer or you're a tactical shooter, the double feed is what we used to call the death jam, because when you got one of these, your gun was jammed for so long that you were dead before you got to clear it. And this double feed malfunction is a serious problem for anyone who is into combat pistol shooting. Well, Greg has developed this technique that is the fastest method to clear this, and he can get this thing cleared in less than a second and a half. Now, I can tell you, having, in my past practiced significant and spent significant time practicing clearing the death jam or the double feed malfunction, that is an incredible difference. We're going from 10 to 15 seconds to 1.5. Folks, in a gunfight, that's the difference between, life and death. And so Greg will teach that technique to you while he does this concealed carry course. And he's actually putting it together in a video that he can put out there. And you're going to see this technique become a famous solution for the death jam. I'm sure it'll be called the McLaughlin technique. Anyway, you can get a hold of Greg, and you can reach him at 255-1612. That's 417-255-1612. And you can also find his website at blackopsschoolofcombat.com. He has a program. If you bring 5 other people with you, your class is free. And he also, if you can't make the 29th of June, then he has an opportunity where he can set up 2 evening classes and break the 8 hours in 4 hours one day, 4 hours another. Okay, make sure you get a chance to see Greg. Chantilly's Artisan Bakery, my friend Mary, and it's Saturday morning. She should be opening up shortly, and you can get yourself great coffee and pastries and all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh, man, she has the best stuff.
And her pastries are just killer. She is the best damn bakery in 100 miles. Anyway, go see Mary. She's at number 2 Evans Arcade, right off the square in West Plains, and you can call her at 255-2253. If you'd like to call into our show, you can call us on the Wits End Classic Barbershop hotline, and Wits End is a barbershop right off the square, right on the square, I should say, and Jason is the purveyor of that establishment. He cuts my hair, and he does a great job. He charges $10 for a haircut, folks, which, believe it or not, is actually 2 bits, as long as it's real silver coins. So you remember the old adage, shaving a haircut, 2 bits? Well,
how much is a bit?
That's my point. A silver quarter today is worth, what, about, it's worth more than that.
Well, it's a quarter, though, traditionally, is 2 bits.
Right. Right.
Because a bit is 12.5 cents.
Oh, I thought you were holding up a $2. No. Yeah, it's silver quarter today. I don't know what the dollar value is, but it's pretty damn close to $10. I can tell you that. A dime, I know that a dime is worth about, at current silver rates, about $1.75. A pre-64 silver dime.
Wow.
So a 64 quarter of silver, I don't even know what it's worth, but it's worth pretty damn close to. In fact, I'd be willing to bet Jason would take silver quarters for a haircut. So. All right, anyway, you can go to see Jason at Wits End Classic Barbershop. He is open on Saturdays, and I encourage you to go see him. He sponsors our hotline, and you can call us if you'd like at 417-257-1111. And also you can call us if you are outside in the hinterlands, outside of our listening area. You can call us from the hinterlands at 866-554-6636. That's 866-554-6636. So yesterday we went to Alton in Oregon County. Alton is the county seat, and we had an opportunity to meet with the 3 commissioners there, and the county clerk was also there, and there were probably, I think somebody told me that the final count was like 60 people.
Wow.
Who showed up.
That's a pretty good turnout for Oregon County.
Well, not only for Oregon County, but at 10:30 in the morning on a work day.
During hay season.
During hay season, no less. And I have to tell you, it was impressive. These people were there. Everyone was articulate and polite. I had gotten word that they were expecting a rowdy crowd to come in there and basically storm the castle. And I knew that would not be the case, but for whatever reason, I guess they were nervous. I don't know why, but word came back to us that somebody was saying, you don't want to be here for that. It's going to be a real rowdy meeting. Well, it was anything but. It was the most orderly meeting. It was as orderly as the one in Howell.
Their concerns were assuaged.
Well, their concerns were unfounded. We may be aggressive, and we may be firm, but we are lawful and polite and articulate and intelligent people.
As it should be.
I mean, we're not the OWS crowd running around naked in the streets.
That would be Occupy whatever.
Occupy whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went to this meeting. They asked everyone to sign in. And I know there were a few folks that probably didn't want to sign in, just, normal, I don't want to be on another list kind of thing, and that's okay. So anyway, we had to go out of their meeting room and go upstairs to the there's almost like a courtroom up there, and we had to go there because I guess it actually was a courtroom because they didn't have enough room in their primary, where the commissioners normally meet.
Right.
And so everybody, the whole one side was full, and I'd say at least half the other side was full, if not more.
Wow.
And the 2 sides of the aisles.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the presiding commissioner got up and he, basically explained that he was new to the Blueways issue. He'd had some constituents calling him about it. And Mike Slack got up and kind of did an introduction into what we found out about Blueways, gave an overview of what our experience was and what our opinions of it was, and then asked if I would stand up and kind of just reiterate it. So I gave them just kind of an overview of some of the more onerous regulations, like the 180-foot setback off of water.
Did you go over the bad stuff too?
I went over pretty much all the bad stuff as quickly as I could get it. Don't forget when you get to these meetings, you only get 15, 20 minutes to talk to them because you're on their agenda, but you can't have their whole day. So I covered the onerous bad stuff as quickly as I could, and I had a few questions from them, about some of the questions really. And one lady brought out a good point, which was one of the onerous bad things I forgot to mention, which was that the first thing that kicks off with this is an immediate reduction of 15% of water use, growing to 25%. Now, folks, if you're a rancher, or if you are in agriculture and you're a farmer, I got to ask you, what does a 15% water reduction do to you? We just came through a drought where we had 100% water reduction. But here's my point. What that tells a livestock person is you can't grow your herd.
15% less cattle is what that means.
Right, because your herd is already hitting its limits and you can't grow it. By the way, that grows to 25% reduction. And so not only will it mean your herd can't grow, but it means that you're going to have to cut back. Now, and then if you're growing, I mean, what are you growing? I don't care, soybeans, wheat. How about these rice growers down in the Boot Heel?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they'd be happy about that.
I mean, 15% water reduction growing to 25%.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to turn the rice production into outer Mongolia.
This is a central planning crap.
So anyway,
I didn't say that word, did I? No.
Yes, you did. You can say that on the air. That's not an FCC.
Oh, that's not a bad word.
No.
No. Okay.
Crap. See,
okay.
You can say
All
it just like that.
All right.
But don't say any of the other ones, please.
No.
Unless you're willing to pay the fine.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break, folks. We'll be back in a minute. I'll finish with this Blueways update, and we'll take your calls on it if anybody has a comment or an opinion on it. We'll be back in just a minute.
The battery station in West Plains is your headquarters for getting and being prepared. Natural disasters, civil unrest, personal and family protection, long-term sustenance, and most importantly, peace of mind. Berkey bottles and home-sized water purification systems, survival food, MREs, freeze-dried food, survival knives, lanterns, ammunition, military sleep system, and of course, batteries of all shapes and sizes. Take charge of your own survival and security. The battery station, 303 Washington in West Plains, 417-257-7799 or batterystation.com.
Complete service and satisfaction is the Earl's Dodge Jeep difference from all the other dealers in the Ozarks. Hello, I'm Janet, and I invite you to come check out our new and pre-owned on the lot at Earl's Dodge Jeep on North Highway 63 across from the fairgrounds in West Plains, where we go out of our way to make you happy. That means doing what it takes to make sure you're satisfied with your total package on your new purchase, which means taking care of you after the sale. It all adds up at Earl's Dodge Jeep, where buying a vehicle is as simple as it should be.
This is Jose from Tijuana. I like the whole potato with the skin on and the fried in the grease that the tortilla chips are fried in. Ooh, muy bueno. Sorry though, I am not really here and you never heard of me. Gracias amigos. And hombre, Mr. Coffee, he will have last word.
Join Cooper and Company weekday mornings 6 to 8 a.m. here on the Ozarks Best News Talk, 107.1 The Point. Coast to Coast AM brings the Ozarks a whole new feel for radio. Midnight to 6 a.m. every night here on the Ozarks Best News Talk 107.1 The Point. Where else would you get callers talking about everything from UFOs to war trends, from mental energy to anomalies, and from lost knowledge to aliens? Listen to experts and researchers who are part of the guest list every night here on the Ozarks Best News Talk. Don't miss Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Midnight to 6 a.m. every night here on the Ozarks Best News Talk 107.1 The Point.
Okay, kids, we're back. You're listening to America's Voice now. My name is Mike Evans. I'm joined this morning on Saturday morning by Mike Walters and also Fast Eddy. And we from time to time will have a guest in who wants to kind of banter around with us and have a little bit of fun. You know, Saturdays I try to make the show a little bit different because Monday through Friday I'm just mean-spirited, rough-talking, yelling at you guys, yelling at the world, screaming from the rooftops.
We've noticed that.
But you're still handsome.
I'm handsome enough to be on radio.
So hey, what did the commissioners over in Oregon County? What did they have to say?
So I was going to get there. You see, you like. He's like trying to reel me in here. So anyway, we had this meeting. They were very attentive, and one of them had mentioned that which was similar to the folks over in Howell County. Hey, we're landowners too, and we're nervous about this. We're not familiar with what this is all about, and thank you for bringing it to our attention. And it's interesting to note. I asked them, I said, were any of you contacted in any way, shape, or form by the Department of the Interior or any of the stakeholder groups prior to this? I mean,
any of the central planners?
Well, yeah, but you see, the central planners are still made up by groups that have an obligation to inform the counties. And here's an example. Where is the Missouri Department of Conservation, who, by the way, says they don't even know anything about this? They're supposed to be a stakeholder, but they don't know anything about it, and none of them contacted the counties. Well, guess what? One of the commissioners brought out the fact that, actually, one of the people in the audience asked if this was allowed by the county use plan.
Right.
And he said, no.
Interesting.
Very interesting. I want to know more. Who out there in listener land knows about what the county use plan is? This is the first time I think that's what they called it.
Okay.
And if there is a county use plan, county by county,
right.
And first of all, according to state law, the counties are responsible for all county regulations, right, including zoning and any zoning that might exist, and as well as water usage, land usage, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a subversion of their authority, and I pointed that out to them. I said, basically what they're trying to do is take over your job.
And they'd like to do that.
And they're going to dictate to you what the new rules are, which means that, quite frankly, your job is going to be out there just, grading roads, because you're not going to make any decisions that matter about anything of any great importance. In other words, those decisions of anything other than the mundane are going to be taken out of your hands. Right. So if anyone knows about a county land use plan or a county usage plan, and if any of you are familiar with what I'm talking about, please call me, and if I'm wrong, correct me. I'm trying to understand more about this. I called over to the Howell County clerk's office, and he wasn't in yesterday after I left that meeting. But if anybody knows what that is or what I'm referring to, because I'm really not sure myself, but I was sure intrigued as soon as I heard that they said, no, it doesn't allow for this. Whatever it was that doesn't allow this, I want to know what it is. So if you know the answer to that question, listenership, 417-257-1111 or 866-554-6636. You can call us on the Wits End Classic Barbershop hotline. The upshot was we asked them to review the resolution, and they basically stated that they were on our side on this. So we asked them to bring the signed resolution on Tuesday at the SCOCOG, which is the 7-county region, when all the counties will be gathered together.
And when is that going to be again?
That's on Tuesday, but I'm not sure that's a public. I'm not sure if that's open to the public. I don't think it is, because that's their executive session where they,
talk about everything.
Well, no, they break it down into a whole bunch of, like, they've got all these different, categories that they talk about. We've only got 15 minutes, so but we've kind of given enough information to the counties, each of the county commissioners in advance, so that it's not like we're going to be, popping a balloon on them. They already know about it now.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for there to be the enticement in reference to Blueways, and that would be money coming to the county or local government in order to fall in line with Blueways.
Well, let me tell you, they've already done that, and here's what it is. Their claim that this designation is some kind of prestigious award is, you know how they back that up? This will be an advantage when you're applying for grants.
See, here comes the money.
Yeah.
Here comes the money.
Yeah.
They're going to hang it out there like a carrot.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, this is a prestigious award. You should be so proud to be named and designated as a Blueway. When you apply for grants, this will be a major factor in determining your grant status.
That's as long as you have 15% less cattle and 15% less everything in reference to agriculture.
Including 15% less population beginning immediately.
And don't forget the 15% less money in your pocket for everybody that's working for themselves in the agricultural industry.
Really? I got to tell you, I've said this before, and I brought this out yesterday to the commissioners, and I said it the day before in Hull. There's a couple of major reasons why they chose this area for their second attempt at tyranny. The first attempt was successful over in Connecticut.
The People's Republic.
The People's Republic with a K of Connecticut. Here's why. One, this is a low population density area. So there's a lot less people to rise up in arms about it. And, to be honest with you, it's not really a high information area in the sense that, you know, how many people around here don't have internet access? A lot of people around here don't have TV or internet access.
Yeah,
right?
but they listen to the radio.
But they listen to the radio, thank God. And so it's a low population density, low information density, right? And it's a low income area, so we don't have the resources to be able to like throw a coalition together and pay a lawyer $250,000 to go out there and start beating them over the head with the federal courts. So wait, I'm not done.
Go.
So here's the real ticker, though. We're already 75% to goal. What do I mean by that?
I don't know. What do you mean?
I'm going to tell you what I mean. We're 75% to goal because we're already one of the most pristine wilderness areas in the nation. We're one of the most broadly or sparsely populated with huge swaths of land that are already, what you would call wildlands qualified. Even a lot of the farms around here are still wildlands. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, how much of this land around here is really grown on? It's not grown on, it's cattle produced, right? And how easy is it to make it back into wildlands? All you got to do is get the cattle off of it. In 10 years, you get it?
I'm raising rocks on my place.
And there you go. You got a big farm and you're raising rocks. So here's the deal. We're already 75% to goal in terms of trying to achieve what they want to achieve, which is turning it back into wilderness.
All they got to do is get rid of us.
Well, exactly. We're the only impediment to their 100% success rate. So, and because the population density is low, there's not even many of us to get out of here. I mean, I think the population of both of these areas combined, in both Arkanistan and Mizuristan, is only like 3 million people. Well, I mean, you got 3 million people living in St. Louis, just within the city, the city proper, right? So here you've got a place that's 18 million acres, and you could pop 50 St. Louises in here. And we've only got the same population as one St. Louis. So it's fairly easy to beat us by financial attrition, drive us out economically, and then where will we go? Well, people who leave are going to be forced to migrate to not other rural areas, but the more suburban areas. They want everybody put into their little shoebox in a St. Louis or a Memphis or a Kansas City or perhaps Springfield. And the goal is fairly easily attained here. That's why they chose this as their second strike point. And guess what else you kind of get as a Benny? You get rid of a hotbed of independent, liberty, and freedom-minded individuals.
Troublemakers.
A hotspot.
Troublemakers.
Of them damn constitutionally thinking troublemakers.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it from their perspective, this is a coup. Right? It's a coup d'etat, but it's a coup.
They have those in South America. Coups.
Coups.
Yeah.
Coups. Coups. It's one of them coups d'etat.
But you're right, though. For them, it's an easy victory. They think it'll be an easy victory.
They thought it was going to be an easy victory. And they were sitting there counting the days off, marking the days off on their calendar. Hey, Betty, they haven't risen up about it yet. Nobody knows yet. And then she's checking off the 12th and the 13th. And then suddenly, boom!
Yeah.
The whole area explodes in dissent.
The crowd with the pitchforks and torches hasn't showed up yet.
Well, guess what? They have as of now. The crowd with the pitchforks and the torches has shown up, and they are ticked. We're going to take a break, folks. We'll be back in just a second with our second segment. Excuse me. We're going to be covering a couple of other issues surrounding that, and including some news stories. And I want to read you something from Doreen on the Blueways. We'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to America's Voice Now.
We are the Ozarks' best news talk, KBMV Birch Tree.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pam Puso. Russia is saying not so fast to U.S. claims that the Syrian regime